Hey everyone, it's TB Shores. It is 6:30, 2020. It is 9:38 a.m. I want to try and do a quick video. I'm going to have to do hopefully I can get a quick video done every day or two to try to get this information to you, because I do keep my grandchildren and it kind of limits my time. So I've asked the Lord to help me to make the most efficient use of my time possible, so that I can get this stuff out. Okay, we're looking at the number 522. And I know you're like, why are we going back to May 22nd? Everything that I have to present to you about what the Lord has shown me beyond 522, beyond June into July and beyond, builds off of the date 522. I'm going to have to lay some groundwork as to understanding the importance of this date. Remember, the Lord had given me over by a period of May 22nd. Now, the reason I have 522 in your face this morning is because yesterday was a day of 522 for me. And the Lord showed me something very relative through this number yesterday. My son handed me something of his that had an expiration date on it, and the date was 522. It was an expiration date, meaning deadline, time's up. My daughter, I went to her house, and on her clock on her stove, it said 522. Well, it wasn't 522 in time. It was just stuck there. It was stuck on 522. And I made mention of it. I said to her, "What's up with your clock? It's on 522. She said, "Oh, it's broke. It's stuck there. Don't pay it no attention." So her clock, another reference of time, was stopped at 522. Now, my point in bringing this up is the Lord has shown me this is pointing me to understand that, yes, something stopped, something ended on 522, which means it goes back to what I said before about when something ends, something begins. So if something ended at 522, something began at 522. And the Lord keeps taking me back to the kingdom age and how the kingdom age began on 522. Now we're going to, let me see if there's anything. Yes, I wanted to point out too, when the Lord first spoke to me over by a period of May 22nd, he first began my understanding of one of the things I would get from this. He began that with the zodiac sign of Gemini, the twins, which is the mirrored vision. The mirrored image, the mirrored image. And we know that a mirrored image is the opposite of something, okay? It looks like it, but it's the opposite of something. That's important to understand. And with this May 22nd, which was at that point in time, what the Lord led me to was the beginning of the Gemini zodiac sign, which is about the twins. This is going to connect back to, we're going to revisit this, what happened on May the 25th, which was 3 days after May 22nd. 3 days is significant because we have to remember everything that God does is on patterns. Numbers, patterns, and understanding of events. And it's so important that we understand. I'm sorry, I have a sinus thing going on this morning, that we understand that we may not always understand the reason for the numbers and the patterns and where things fall, but it's just for us to listen to the Lord, and He will make things clearer as time passes, because many times I have to wait. I have to wait on Him. And that's what we're doing. We are in the upper room waiting, and this waiting needs to be about us drawing nearer to Him. Not just sitting and waiting and dilly-dallying. We've got to be growing spiritually during this time, because what is coming is going to require it. It's going to require us to be at our most mature level spiritually. And that is why it's so important to understand the counting of the Omer and how it represents taking in a measure of the Lord every day. I can't stress that enough, okay? This time of waiting in the upper room isn't just dilly-dallying, saying, oh, it's almost time for the infilling. No, we need to be seeking Him like never before and growing spiritually like never before. I can tell a big difference spiritually in how the Lord shows me things. It's just like bam, bam, bam. There's no waiting, and it's just like I explained before, the 3 people that I don't have consistent contact with that sent me confirmations. We're talking about the confirmation that one of the ladies sent me and how it connects with 522. How it connects, sorry about that, I got distracted with that. How it connects with 522. Lillian had sent me a text, basically. I'm trying to see, it seemed like I wrote that down somewhere. Yes, here it is. Basically, she was saying a while back, you did a study on twins. Okay, that connects us to Minneapolis because it's known as the Twin Cities, okay? I wonder if that has anything to do with Minneapolis, she said. See, she sees the connection, and then she put good and evil, etc. And so from that message from her, it made me quite aware that what I had been shown I needed to share. And that is one of the reasons why we are revisiting this 522, because what happened in Minneapolis connects to this. I mentioned it some in the last video, I think, about this racial divide that seems to be taking the country by storm with the rioting and destruction. And it's not just here, it's in other countries as well. But the Lord has made it clear to me that on May 22nd, the kingdom age began. Everything does not always happen in the way that we think that it will. It doesn't always look like we think it will look. This kingdom age beginning, as I spoke in the last video, has to do with the struggle between the light and the darkness that is taking place right now, the good and the evil. And we see that in what happened in Minneapolis and how it has sparked a racial divide, which is about light and darkness, black and white. Represents the light and the darkness. And I'm not by any means trying to make any kind of racial comment here. That's not what I'm doing. But I'm just pointing out that this is the beginning of the kingdom coming, because it has to start with something. And when we know that both kingdoms come at the same time, because as Satan's kingdom is rising, so is the light in this world, because the Lord will not leave everyone to fend for themselves without the light, okay, which is Him, which comes through as we look at it as the kingdom of light rising. It begins with the first fruits, the 144s. Okay, so as we look back, the Lord showed us through Gemini the significance of May 22nd, and it had to do with the light and the darkness. Okay, and he showed us that Gemini being a sign in the heavens, just as we can look at any of these zodiac signs as having a piece of the puzzle of God's plan. I'm just talking about this one at this moment. I see some other things that relate to things of that sort in the heavens, but right now we're talking about this one. Okay, so we have the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness. And May 22nd was the beginning of the kingdom age. So we have this struggle that has sparked between the light and the darkness. And that's what this happening in the Twin Cities is all about. It's God showing us that marker in time that it has begun. I hope y'all can understand that and see that, because he has clearly shown us that 522 is his marker in time, and it has begun. Now, as we look at 522, we pop back over here at the calendar, we see that, speaking of the counting of the Omer, there's 6 days left in the counting of the Omer. And we're going to cover that a bit later, but I'm going to have to take this in sections, so you're going to have to listen to each video in order to understand what the Lord has shown me and how I'm trying to explain it to you. So we're going to look at this May 22nd and the remainder count of the Omer and what this 6 days represents. And everything builds. That's why I have to go back to May 22nd. Everything builds off of that, because that was the beginning of the kingdom age. Now, just like I was saying, it's about the light and the darkness, and the time of the 2 kingdoms to come. Okay, and it's about, we are in that travail for the kingdoms to be birthed right now, because that is what is happening. But I wanted to point out, when you look up 522, right here it is, 522 in the Strong's, it is made up of 2, wait a minute, let me scroll down just a bit. 522 basically means to remove or take away. And to better understand what the Lord is meaning by that, we're going to look at these 2 words that compose, that this is made out of, okay? And the first one is this. It is of separation or apart from the whole. This one is what the Lord really wanted me to emphasize, and it applies to what I'm telling you about this struggle between the light and the darkness that's taking place, that began in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, okay? Of a kind of separation of one thing from another, by which the union or fellowship of the 2 is destroyed. That is what is taking place right now. Fellowship is being destroyed. Conflict is being created, and it is about what has to be, because we are in the kingdom age. The 2 kingdoms are being birthed. We have to understand that to be able to grasp what I'm going to present from here on out, as we start with May 22nd, and I show you what the Lord has shown me by counting and patterns that he has given me to understand, and where they land on the calendar and what that represents. So I'm going to cut this off here, and hopefully I can get back to another video soon. I love y'all. Bye-bye.